You've seen them, right? They're popping up everywhere. These big, shiny tunnels on the best corners in town, promising a spotless car in just a few minutes. But if you think the business is just about soap and water, you're really only scratching the surface. Today, we're going to look under the hood of the local car wash.
Because the real question isn't how do they get my car so clean? The real question is, what kind of machine are they actually building behind all the flashing lights and spinning brushes? And trust me, the answer is probably not what you're thinking. So the common belief is pretty straightforward. You pay your 10, 15 bucks, and you get a clean car. It's a simple service for a simple fee. But that's not the whole story. Not even close. The reality is that the modern car wash has been engineered into this incredibly sophisticated financial instrument. It's designed to do a lot more than just make a profit from washing cars.
I mean, think about it for a second. Are our cars suddenly way dirtier than they were 5 years ago? No way. The demand for a car wash is pretty consistent. So why are all these private equity firms and big-time investors suddenly pouring billions of dollars into this space? It's not because of a boom in dirty cars. It's because the demand for tax-advantaged assets that kick off predictable cash flow is through the roof.
Okay, so how does this actually work? To really get it, we need to break it down into three sort of invisible systems that are all working together behind the scenes. We've got the subscription engine, the land vault, and this really powerful thing called the tax shield. Let's start with the first pillar, which is really the operational heart of the whole thing. This is the big shift that totally changed the game. Moving the business away from just hoping people show up. See, the old car wash model was a nightmare for an owner. If it rained for a week straight, your revenue was zero. Zip. Investors absolutely hate that kind of risk. So the industry did something brilliant. They stole an idea from a totally different business, the gym. They rolled out these unlimited monthly memberships. And just like that, they turned a random, unpredictable trickle of cash into a steady, reliable river of income that hits the bank account every single month, whether it's sunny or snowing. And what's really fascinating is how investors and Wall Street look at this change. A dollar is a dollar, right? Well, not really. As you can see here, a dollar that comes from a recurring subscription is valued way, way higher than a dollar from a one-time sale. A typical business might get valued at, say, 3 times its annual earnings. But a subscription business, that could be valued at 10 times its earnings or even more. It's the same amount of money, but because it's predictable, it's considered way more valuable. So, here's the kicker. That stable, predictable cash flow does way more than just pay the electric bill. It creates this beautiful set of data you can walk right into a bank with. That reliable income stream becomes the perfect collateral to get loans, which you then use to build more locations, which get more members, which lets you get more loans. You see the cycle? The business isn't even just washing cars anymore. The real product becomes the database of monthly members. Okay, let's move on to the second pillar, which builds right on top of the first. If that subscription money is the engine, then the ground the car wash is built on, well, that's the long-term vault where the real wealth is stored. Think about where you see these places. They're always on these prime, high-traffic corners, right? The kind of land that's super valuable. That is 100% on purpose. It's a classic real estate strategy called a covered land play. The basic idea is you use a simple, profitable business, like a car wash, to pay for all the costs of owning a fantastic piece of land. It covers the mortgage, the property taxes, everything, while you just sit back and wait for the land's value to go up and up over time. And this just shows you how powerful the long game is. In year one, those monthly membership fees are paying down the mortgage. Fast forward 10 years, and that piece of land is probably worth a whole lot more. Then, maybe 20 years down the road, the investor owns a multi-million-dollar piece of commercial real estate, completely free and clear. The car wash was basically just a tool that paid for its own purchase. This is the real magic of this invisible system. The car wash itself is basically the perfect tenant. It generates cash flow that pays the rent, which in this case is the mortgage. It effectively lets an investor buy a super valuable piece of land for free, all paid for by thousands of people's $20 or $30 a month subscriptions. All right, now for the third and final pillar. And honestly, this might be the most powerful part of the entire machine. We've got cash flow, we've got real estate, but the real rocket fuel is hidden away in the US tax code. Okay, stick with me here. Normally, if you buy a commercial building, the IRS lets you depreciate it, which is just a fancy way of saying you can deduct a tiny piece of its value from your taxes each year over a super long time, like 39 years. But here's the thing. A car wash is special because it's really just a giant, complex machine. Conveyors, computers, pumps, with a simple structure built around it. Most of its value is classified as equipment, not a building. And you can write off equipment,
way, way faster. How much faster, you ask? Well, thanks to a part of the tax code called bonus depreciation, investors can often write off 100% of the cost of all that equipment in the very first year they own it. 100%.
So let me just walk you through how this plays out. Let's say an investor has a great year and makes $1 million in profit from their other businesses. They're looking at a huge tax bill, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But instead of writing a check to the government, they use that money to buy a car wash. That massive first-year depreciation we just talked about creates a huge paper loss that can cancel out the profit they made somewhere else, potentially wiping out their tax bill entirely.
This just completely changes why you'd even buy the business in the first place. The government is, in effect, helping you buy it. You're taking money that you would have sent in for taxes, and instead you're buying a real asset that produces cash flow and appreciates in value. It really boils down to this. You're not buying it to make new money tomorrow. You're buying it to keep the money you already made yesterday.
So let's put all three of these pieces together now. Because when you see them not as separate ideas, but as one interconnected system, you stop seeing a place that washes cars, and you start seeing a powerful, integrated financial machine.
And there it is, the whole package. You've got the stable cash flow from subscriptions, which makes the banks happy and fuels growth. You've got long-term wealth being built as the prime real estate appreciates, and you get this massive, immediate tax break from the depreciation. Each pillar supports and strengthens the others, creating this incredible financial flywheel.
And that really brings us to the punchline of this whole thing. Sure, a car wash is a machine that washes cars, but its true financial function is to wash money. It cleanses cash of its tax liability and converts it into cold, hard equity. And once you see this pattern, you kind of can't unsee it. It makes you look around and wonder, what other everyday businesses that we see all the time are secretly playing a completely different game, hiding their own invisible systems right out in the open?